What's going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit, and in this video we're going to be breaking down exactly how much I spend living in Orlando, Florida as a 25-year-old. Now, the reason I'm making this video is simply just because I noticed a trend on YouTube where a lot of individuals broke down what their monthly budget was for a specific city, and I thought, hey, you know, why not Orlando? Orlando is definitely a popular city. It's the place that I call home. So we're gonna go ahead and expose what I spend financially living in Orlando. So right off the bat, we're gonna go ahead and break down where the bulk of everyone's money goes to, and that is your living expenses. No matter which city you reside in, you're always gonna pay a majority of your money going into either your rent or your mortgage, or whichever situation you lay on, right? Now, in my case, I do have a mortgage. If you guys haven't seen my recent video, definitely check it out. But I decided to buy a condo in downtown Orlando. With that being said, my mortgage is around $926. Now, if this would have been 3 years ago, I probably could have just gotten a house in the suburbs of Orlando for the same price, but for a 3-bedroom house versus, you know, I'm paying $900 for a 1-bedroom condo. But again, it's all about location. This area is always going to be a lot more expensive per square feet, simply just because it's located by the city. So that's really the case. Now, when it comes to owning a property, the mortgage isn't your only expense, because you're also going to have what is called an HOA fee. And in my case, the HOA fee is pretty high. Once again, just simply because of the location of where I'm at, where I'm located by the city. But the HOA is $396. Now, the rent for, you know, area like this, if you're renting in this location, pretty much would be almost exactly the same for my mortgage and HOA. The rent would be around $1,400 to $1,500. But again, you know, because I'm owning it, I do just have the mortgage and the HOA, but put it together is pretty similar to what the rent would be in this area. Now, if we're gonna be honest, I could have rented an apartment with 2 bedrooms for either the same price or slightly a little bit more, but to me, ownership, saving money, and also investing into property was much more important to me than, you know, just renting an apartment for 2 bedrooms. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what your goals are for where you plan to live and what you plan to do. For example, I just wanted to be closer to the city, so to me, I just wanted to buy a property that I could live for a little bit of time and then, you know, rent it out. But of course, that's not everyone's goal. Everyone has different paths. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative for more space in Orlando, definitely has a lot more cheaper areas with much more room. With how much I spent on my mortgage for the month out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about food. Now, when it comes down to food, I'm gonna break this down in 2 sections. I'm gonna break this down into groceries and eating out, right? Just because I count that all as one category, simply just because it all involves food. Now, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm a little ashamed in admitting this, but as an individual who lives by himself, I rarely cook in. In fact, I definitely need to work towards, you know, cooking more. So you guys are gonna see these numbers. Let me know in the comment section below if these numbers look similar to your situation, or if this is something I need to literally get immediately fixed, right? So how much I spend a month on groceries is literally just $157 a month. Now, that's just how much I spent last month, and it's usually around that area, simply because, again, I don't really spend that much on groceries. I might buy some steak, some salmon, some chicken, some vegetables, and then not even cook it for a while. And then how much I spent on eating out was close to 600 and something, closer to like $700 for the month. But I am also going to mention that that does include alcoholic beverages at bars. So if we're going to be, you know, a little fair, we have to, you know, obviously include that in there, or just kind of like put a little asterisk on that, just simply just because that doesn't really count with food. It just, you know, it goes more towards entertainment, but simply just because it's on the credit card statement, I'm just gonna put that all together. So really just 157 on groceries and more like 600 something on eating out, plus, you know, drinks. But let me know if that's something I need to correct, or if that looks similar to you. Hopefully this is something that someone else could relate to, and I'm not just like the only one. But I do agree that this is something I definitely gotta work on. So we went over how much I spend for the mortgage, we went over how much I spend for food, such as groceries and eating out, and next let's go ahead and talk about electricity. Now, when it comes down to electricity, this is something that I'm actually not ashamed of, and I'm actually very proud of, because I keep it very low. Now, granted, I have not that large of a space, but I still think the electricity price is very fair, and so on average I pay around $60 a month on the electricity. Now, the electricity, the reason why I think I keep it so low is because I am very frugal with how I use electricity. If I leave one room to enter another, I usually shut the lights off. And also, whenever I leave this house, which I'm very often not home, which I probably shouldn't say on camera, because Anyways, I always shut off all items. I shut off the AC when I'm not home. I shut off all the lights, and I utilize, all the window space that I have available, with the balcony window doors as well, simply just because I like to have a lot of natural lighting, and because of that, lets me save on the electricity, even though I'm someone who spends countless amounts of hours on the computer doing either, trading, which is what I do. By the way, if you guys want to learn more about that, you could definitely check out my other videos. But with that being said, I'm someone who, because I'm very frugal with how I use electricity, I think I get to save in that aspect, which definitely helps out, especially for, the food area. Now, we talked about housing, we talked about food, we even talked about electricity, but one major aspect that we have to talk about when we're talking about the cost of living in Florida is having a vehicle, right? So if you don't have a car, you're gonna absolutely hate yourself, and I'm just being 100% honest. Right now, I grew up in Queens, New York, where in reality you don't need a vehicle to go places, right? You could actually rely on public transportation. You have subways, trains, buses that are very reliable, right? When it comes to Florida, though, we do have those public transportations, but they're just not as reliable as how they were in New York City. So in Orlando, you're gonna need a car. Now, my car is fully paid off, and what I do is, instead of getting a new car, people keep asking me, Justin, when are you gonna get like a nice new car while you're still in the Honda? I drive the Honda simply because it's paid off, and whatever money that I save from not having payment anymore, I pretty much just invest that in the stock market. Not saying that's the best option for everyone. Some people like, adding more liabilities and getting that new car, right? But everyone, it's each their own. But for me, we still have gas, right? We still have gas and maintenance for the car. Now, maintenance, I can't really calculate monthly just because it doesn't really happen monthly. I would have to add how much it is for the year and then divide that, but we'll just exclude that from the video. Let's go ahead and talk about how much I spend on gas. Now, on average, I spend around $100 on gas a month. So that's pretty much it as far as transportation. If I didn't have the car, I would have to Uber everywhere, and that would probably be like 5 times more expensive. So definitely you need your own vehicle in Florida. It's an absolute must. Now, before we get any deeper for this video, I want to do a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Webull. Now, Webull is a mobile trading and investing platform that allows you to trade and invest in the stock market. They offer high-end tools to help you make a better decision for your trading. They have scanners, they have indicators, everything you pretty much need to help you be a successful trader. Now, Webull actually has an offer right now where if you click the link in the description below, sign up for Webull and deposit $100, you'll be eligible to receive 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600. The stocks that you're gonna get are gonna be random, but again, it's valued up to $1,600. Now, when I first signed up with Webull, I got a free share of Google that was worth $1,000 at the time. Google is now worth like $2,000. I do have a video of me getting that free stock, so I'll link that somewhere in the description box as well. But yeah, definitely check it out. Webull is a great platform, and with that being said, let's go ahead and continue with the video. So as I mentioned earlier, I spend a lot of time on the computer because that's simply my main source of entertainment. I don't pay for cable. I think cable is obsolete nowadays, especially because anything you want to watch is pretty much online. Even sport events, there's a way to do that. I'm not going to mention it, but I have other individuals who pay for Netflix, so I don't really pay for Netflix. I have friends that have Disney Plus, so I don't pay for Disney Plus. But if Netflix, Disney Plus, or Hulu is watching this, everything I said is just hypothetical. But anyways, yeah, I don't pay for cable. Everything is online. With that being said, we have to talk about Wi-Fi because you need Wi-Fi to obviously survive. So my Wi-Fi for the month comes out to $74.99. I don't think it's that much. Honestly, I could have gotten a cheaper package, but I kind of wanted to get like the mid-tier package just so I have enough to obviously trade and also upload on YouTube. Those things are kind of vital for what I do. But again, you could offer a cheaper package. You could even offer a more expensive package that includes cable, but again, I don't use cable. And then as far as entertainment, again, you guys have to understand that this video is being made during the pandemic. Yeah, bars and stuff are kind of open, but there's not really much going on. I'm not someone who really goes to a lot of theme parks. I know Orlando is pretty much like the center for theme parks. We got so many water parks and so many parks. I really don't go to them anymore, simply just because I've been to all of them. I recently purchased an annual pass for Busch Gardens in Tampa, which is the first time I've ever been there, and it was like $100 for the year, so I guess that comes out to like $10 a month. But as far as entertainment, spent, pretty much it's just like hanging out with friends or, just in my own place. It's not like I'm really doing much. So my last expense is something that's pretty unique to me. It's pretty much just drug money. Just kidding. It's how much I spend on my haircuts, right? So I spend on average around $80 a month on haircuts, which I know can be a lot. I'm actually reducing it. If you guys have been watching this channel, you guys might have seen me go through like 7 different hairstyles. I had curly hair, then I had braided hair, then I cut it short, then I dyed it blonde. Now I'm growing it out. It's just a mess, but honestly, it's something that I'm trying to reduce. But altogether, it really just comes down to me spending around $2,500 a month for me to just live, comfortably, which is something that's doable. Anyone making $40,000 a year can pretty much live comfortably in Orlando, and anything above that is obviously greater. And pretty much everything else that I have excess from whatever I make as income, pretty much like every penny of it goes to investing, right? And I'm going to investing in more real estate, so I have it in savings accounts, multiple different brokerages. I have trading accounts, so pretty much I save a ton of money simply just because I live within my means. And I just think that's something that everyone should try to implement. Of course, there's always corners that you could try to cut, like my haircut, my food bill, definitely things I should definitely reduce. So yeah, now that's pretty much just a breakdown of how much I spend a month living in Orlando. Again, it's probably gonna vary from person to person, but as you guys can tell, I'm very frugal. I live within my means. You guys don't see me spending a lot on like fashion and Gucci belts or none of that really. I pretty much have like a simple wardrobe because my main focus is saving and investing in the stock market. And as I mentioned earlier, I think anyone making $40,000 and up in Orlando could pretty much live comfortably. And if you have a partner, right, you have 2 people in your unit having 2 incomes and splitting the bills, you're setting yourself for success. Me personally, I don't think having a partner right now is kind of in the mission or in the vision, but who knows, you never know. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.